Welcome to Real Estate Wisdom with Vish. I'm your host Vishal Kapoor, and before we dive in today, let me ask you something. Did you know that homes priced just 5% too high typically take weeks longer to sell and often end up selling for less than if they've been priced correctly from the start? That's right. The wrong price can actually cost you thousands. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on one of real estate's most guarded processes: how realtors determine what your home's actually worth. Whether you are selling your family home in Oakville or anywhere else, or looking to buy your dream house, what I'm about to share could save you from making a $50,000 mistake. In some cases, more. Let me tell you about my client Sarah. She interviewed 3 agents to sell her River Oaks home. 2 suggested listing at 1.25 million. But the third promised he could get 1.135 million. Guess who got the listing? 6 months and 3 price reductions later, Sarah's home sold for just 1.19 million. She fell victim to what we call buying a listing. And by the end of today's episode, you will know exactly how to avoid this costly trap. The real home valuation process realtors don't want you to know, but I'm telling you anyway. When determining a home's value, professional realtors don't just eyeball your property and make an educated guess. We use a systematic, data-driven approach called a comparative market analysis, or you might have heard CMA. Think of a CMA as a CSI for real estate. We investigate recently sold properties that match yours as closely as possible, ideally homes that sold within the last 90 days. Now, you're going to ask me, why 90 days? Because in hot markets like we have seen recently, which is 2 years ago, even in the normal market, prices from 6 months ago might already be irrelevant. Here's what happens behind the scenes. The most homeowners never see. Property matching. We find homes with similar square footage, and bedroom count, and bathroom count, and lot size within your neighborhood. Now, step 2, adjustment calculations. We literally add or subtract dollar values for differences. Your finished basement might add $25,000 compared to a similar home without one. Your outdated kitchen might subtract $15,000 compared to a renovated comparable. Here are some examples to give you some numbers. Third process we do is we examine whether neighborhood prices are trending up or down by comparing price per square foot over the last 6 to 12 months. Well, let me share a real example from right here in Oakville. Last month, I valued a 4-bedroom home in Bronte. 3 comparables homes had recently sold. House number 1, $1,744,000. Similar size, updated kitchen. House number 2, $1.628 million. Similar size, original kitchen like my clients. House number 3, $1.995, slightly larger premium lot. After adjustment, the data pointed to a fair market value of 1.75, not the 1.9 the homeowner hoped for after seeing a neighbor's house sell for that amount. That neighbor's home, as it turned out, had been extensively renovated. The stats that actually matter, not the ones you think. Forget what you've seen on TV. Professional realtors focus on these specific metrics: day on market, we also call DOM. This is the canary in the coal mine. In our current Oakville market, the average day on the market for detached homes is 48 days in the Fort area and 49 days in Bronte if comparable homes are selling in 30 days, but yours has been listed for 60. It's almost certainly overpriced regardless of what your house sigma guesstimate says. Well, we also look into sell to list price ratio. And this tells you whether homes are selling above, at, or below asking price. In Oakville's current market, detached homes are selling for approximately 93 to 97% of list price. This helps calibrate our pricing strategy. What are we going to price? Are we going to keep some numbers over there to negotiate? Now, the other important factor is absorption rate. And this measures how quickly homes are selling compared to new listings. For detached homes in Oakville, for example, the sales to new listings ratio is currently between 23 to 24% in Bronte and 24% in the Fort area. An absorption rate under 30% indicates a buyer's market. Over 60% signals a seller's market. Now, price reductions. We track how many comparable listings had to reduce their price before selling. In the current Oakville market, many homes are experiencing price adjustments before selling, reflecting the buyer's market conditions. You got it. Here's what most homeowners don't realize. A home that's properly priced from day one typically sells for more than a home that starts overpriced and requires reductions. Why? Because fresh listings get the most attention, and price reductions signal desperation to buyers. Now, let's talk about buying a listing, the dirty secret of home valuation. Remember Sarah's story from earlier? She fell victim to a practice called buying a listing. And this happens when an agent deliberately overvalues your home just to get you to sign with them. And sometimes sellers say, like, I'm not going to sell less than this. It's not what you sell for, what market is telling. It works like this. 3 agents tell you your home is worth 1.25 million based on comparable sales data. The 4th agent say, I can get you 1.35 million. Naturally, you're drawn to the highest number. Who wouldn't be? Right? Everybody wants more price than the market value. The agent knows they can't actually sell at that price, but they are counting on securing your listing first, then gradually managing your expectations with price reductions until the home sells at its actual market value, or often lower, because stale listings attract lowball offers. A recent study by the National Association of Realtors found that homes that require a price reduction ultimately sell for an average of 4% less than similar homes priced correctly from the start. On a 1.25 million home, that's $50,000 left on the table. So why not from the start? Price right. Appraisals versus valuation versus market value showdown. These three terms get thrown around interchangeably, but they represent fundamentally different concepts. Appraisal. That's conducted by a licensed appraiser, not a realtor. Required by lenders before approving mortgage, based on rigid formulas and guidelines. Cost around $300 to $500, often more conservative than market value. We talk about home valuation, CMA, performed by a real estate agent, more flexible and market responsive than an appraisal. Considers intangible factors like current buyers' preferences. Usually provide free as a service to potential clients. designed to predict what buyers will actually pay. Now, fair market value, the actual price a buyer will pay and a seller will accept, determined by the market itself, not by professionals. Can be influenced by factors neither appraisals nor CMAs capture, like a buyer's emotional connection to a property. The only value that ultimately matters, which is fair market value. Here's the crucial difference. An appraiser tells you what your home should be worth based on formulas. A good realtor predicts what buyers will actually pay in the current market conditions. I remember last summer, a waterfront property in Oakville appraised for $1.8 million, but sold for $2.1 million because multiple buyers fell in love with the sunset views, something no appraisal formula can quantify. Now, the right versus wrong way of home valuation. The right way. Should we always talk about the right way first, shouldn't we? Well, compare apples to apple. Using truly comparable properties, not just any home in your neighborhood. And I say, use a neighborhood, not the whole community. Sometime in neighborhood also certain sections have a different valuation. And check recent data only. In today's market, recent means within the last 90 days, not last year. Local expertise. Understanding micro market trends that national websites can capture. Honest assessment. Being willing to tell clients the truth, even when it's not what they want to hear. I try to do that most of the time, I should say. Now, what's a wrong way? Wrong way is relying on online estimators. Online estimates can be off by 5 to 20% in either direction. In Oakville, I've seen them miss by over $100,000. Emotional pricing. We need to get X amount because that's what we paid plus renovations. The market doesn't care what you paid. Cherry picking comparables. Only looking at the highest price sales while ignoring more similar properties that sold for less. The shocking truth about home value misconceptions. What are they? Let me bust some myths that cost homeowners thousands. Myth number 1. My renovation cost will be reflected in my home's value. Reality? On average, even the best renovations only return 70 to 80% on the dollar. That $50,000 kitchen might only add $35,000 to $40,000 to your home, to your home's value, and some improvements like swimming pools or overly personalized designs can actually decrease value in certain markets. But one thing it might sell faster. Online valuation tools are accurate. Myth number 2. Reality, a recent study found that House Sigma's estimate, Zillow's estimate had a median error rate of 4.3% nationally. In some markets, it is much higher. On a 1.3 million home, for example, the current average in Oakville, that's potentially $56,000 miscalculation, $56,000 miscalculation, I should say. Myth number 3, the tax assessment reflects market value. Property tax assessments often lag behind market values by years and use completely different methodologies. In Oakville, I regularly see homes sell for 20-30% more or less than assessed value. In some cases, 100% or more than 100% about the assessed value. Myth number 4, should price high to leave room for negotiation. Good one. Overpriced homes attract fewer showings and offers in I would say, like in our digital age, buyers are well informed and simply skip overpriced listings rather than making lowball offers. A lot of people will skip. The double-edged sword of accurate pricing. Here, you probably want to hear. Getting the price right comes with both benefits and challenges. The upside, faster sales. Properly priced homes in Oakville are currently selling in an average of 39 to 49 days versus 60 plus days for overpriced properties. If home is not selling, most likely it's the price. Correctly priced homes often attract multiple offers, potentially driving the final price above asking. Less disruption. Fewer days on market means fewer showings, less cleaning, and less time with your life on hold. Believe it, it definitely has put your life on hold when you're selling your house. Stronger negotiating position. Multiple interested buyers mean you can negotiate better terms, not just price. The downside? Emotional hurdles. Accepting that your home isn't worth what you hoped can be difficult, especially if you made improvements you love. Market timing risk. Price too low in a rapidly appreciating market and you might have leave money on the table. Yes, it does happen. Neighborhood perception. Your accurately priced home might look like a bargain compared to overpriced neighbors, potentially attracting lowball offers. FOMO factor. If your home sells quickly, you might wonder if you could have gotten more. Human tendency, isn't it? Even though data shows this is rarely the case, but emotionally, or that's how you feel like sometimes, right? If it sells quickly. And sometimes I've seen people say, hey, we just got in the market and we got this price and we don't want to sell. We might get more. So let me share what happened with my client, John and Maria, last month. After interviewing several agents who suggested listing their Oakville semi-detached at prices ranging from $1.15 million to $1.25 million, they were understandably confused. I showed them exactly how I arrived at my recommended price of 1.165. Three-way similar homes had recently sold for 1.15, 1.165, and 1.175. Their home had a slightly better location than the 1.15 sale, but needed bathroom updates compared to the 1.175 sale. Market trends showed prices decreasing about 4.2% year over year. We listed at 1.165 on a Thursday, held weekend open houses, and reviewed offers the following Tuesday. The result? 3 offers with the winning bid of 1.185. $20,000 over asking and at the top end of what your agent has suggested as a listing price. Had we listed at 1.25 million, as one agent suggested, we would likely still be on the market or facing price reduction. Now, talk about your action plan, getting your home true value. If you're considering selling, here's our step-by-step plan to ensure you get an accurate valuation. First, interview at least 3 realtors. Be suspicious if one valuation is significantly higher than the others. Ask for the CMA. Request to see the actual comparable properties they use, not just their final number. Number 3, question their methodology. Ask specifically how they adjusted for differences between your home and the comparables. Request market trend data. Understanding whether your market is heating up or cooling down affects pricing strategy. Currently, Oakville is experiencing a buyer's market with the number of homes sold down 37.6% from last year. Discuss a pricing strategy, not just a price. A good agent has a plan for what happens if the home doesn't sell in the expected time frame, not just keeping in the market until they get their price. Remember, the right price isn't the highest priced an agent tells you. It's the price that attracts qualified buyers and results in a successful sale. I always ask this question, would you like to list it or you want to sell it? Because you can list any price you want, but it's going to sell only on one price, the right price. The truth about home valuation is that it's both an art and a science. The best realtors combine data analysis with local market knowledge to arrive at a price that maximizes your return while ensuring a successful sale. As we've seen, pricing your home correctly from the start typically results in a faster sales and a higher final price than starting higher and reducing later. And beware of agents who seem to be buying your listing with inflated valuations. They are setting you up for disappointment and potentially costing you thousands. I know it sounds good to ear, but not sound so much great on the pocket. Which one would you prefer? So if you're in the Oakville area and want an honest data-driven valuation of your home, even if you are not ready to sell yet, reach out to me. I'd rather give you an accurate assessment than an inflated number that wins your business but costs you in the long run. I know, sometimes even I end up telling my clients not to sell because they're not getting what they're looking for and they might be able to afford it. Well, that's all for today's episode of Real Estate Wisdom with Vish. If this information saved you from a potential pricing mistake, please subscribe to our podcast and share it with your friends. Remember to hit that notification bell on YouTube so you don't miss our next episode. I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be a surprise. So watch it for. Until next time, this is Vish helping you navigate the world of real estate with insider knowledge and honest advice. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now. Disclaimer. The information provided in this podcast is for informational purpose only and should not be considered as financial or investment advice. Consult with your professional before making any real estate decisions.